Hi, and welcome to my ImageTrend Elite training. Today we'll cover the web version and Elite field. This is the home screen when you log into ImageTrend Elite. You can tell you're in the web version. And this ImageTrend Elite button in the top left-hand corner, this is going to be your home button. So whenever you get working through any of these tabs, this will bring you right back to your home page. Whoever logs in, their name is going to show up over here in the top right corner. This is my name. If you click the drop down, you'll be able to see account information, and this will give you a direct link back to your old version 2 StateBridge, FieldBridge sites. So that's always a click away, and it will also give you the option to log out. Next to that user's name, you will see the inbox option. ImageTrend Elite gives you the capabilities to send messages. You can send them to your crew members, and you can label them depending on what type of message they are. So it's a very simple inbox function. You can create a new message. You can change the message type if it's billing, documentation, protocol deviation, research, skills review. So this will give you the capabilities to send messages to your crew members. You can archive and delete as well. The next tab over that we'll take a look at is this community tab. And this is going to be so valuable for you as you are setting up your ImageTrend Elite site. It will allow you to find answers to questions as well as watch pre-recorded webinars from ImageTrend if you are going to do more additional training with any of your staff members. So under the community dropdown, you see the Help in University. This will bring you to ImageTrend University. The first tab is Contents, and they have written these books, as they call them, that have step-by-step instructions of anything you could ever run into. You can also search up here, so if you're kind of interested in the EKG auto import, I just type that in and you can see EKG setup guide. So step 1, step 2, you can choose the monitor, and they have screenshots available to walk you through those steps as well. Under this Learn tab, you will see the webinars option, and these are really great. I have watched all of them, and you can watch them by topic, or you could watch them by permission group. So if you're an agency administrator and provider, this might be helpful for you to watch with your crew. And like I said, ImageTrend has already filmed them. It tells you what the webinar covers. And this one is 42 minutes long. Some of them are shorter, some of them are only like 10 or 15 minutes. But just know that these contents and these webinars are here under ImageTrend University, and they're going to be a great help for you. Next, we'll jump over to the agency name. You should see your agency name. Here I see Test Agency 1234. When you click the drop down, and as you're logged in as an agency administrator, you're not going to see any of the system level options. You're just going to see your name and if these options right under your name. And we'll go through these. So the first option is agency information. And most of this should have already been pulled over for you. Looks like it was in this case. If you are missing something, let's say you don't have anything in here, you see it will highlight in red and you'll have a red exclamation point. So this means that something is missing. Service area should default to Colorado. The agency information section is also where you would go if you had no incidents to report. So if you had a very small agency, or maybe it was just volunteer, and say you go 2 months without collecting any data, this is where you can go to report that, just so the state knows that you're not keeping data in a different area, you have no incidents to report. And whenever you're working through here, it's important to hit the save button so that you save your work. We'll go back out. The next option down is users, and this is where you will see your list of users. They should have already been migrated over from your old site. You see last name, first name, position, staff member, permission group, show in the run form. The permission group tells you what that person is able to do and see when they log in. Show in run form, if it's set to EMS, they will show up in the EMS run form. Active or inactive at your agency, login access. If for some reason you forget your username and password and you try too many times, you will get locked out of the system. So the agency administrator most likely will have to go in and grant permission to log in again. You can see that Scott Beckley here, the system administrator, his login access is set to no. And then this last column was recently added. This shows the last time that that user logged in. So we can go under Scott's name and we will just take a look at the user profiles. So we are under the demographics tab. You see Scott's name. He has an email address. That is good to have an email just for your account credentials if you ever get locked out. If I wanted to put in his address, driver's license, social security number, I could do that as well. You see they aren't highlighted in red, meaning they aren't mandatory. The next tab is certifications. This is where you would type in the national and state licensure information. Once you type in the state licensure, you can hit same as state under the agency licensure group, because most likely those are the same. And additional certifications if you wanted to add that. Employment, as you can see, none of these are highlighted red, but it is optional and it's more of an admin task. But if you wanted to put their badge number, payroll ID, hire date, their rank, what their position is, maybe when they started, what their pay rate is, the length of service, this is all an option under the employment tab. This is also where you would go to turn on show and run form. And you can see that's not an option in this case because ImageTrend Elite requires a licensure ID, some type of national or state licensure to be typed in for someone to show up in the run form. And I've gotten the question, well, what if I have hired someone who's not a paramedic and all they do is, drive the ambulance? Well, then under the state licensure information section, you need to type in their driver's license information. Doing so will allow you to come in here and select yes, show in the run form. But they just need some type of licensure information under that certifications tab here, or else you're not going to have that option. The account details tab, this is username, password, permission group. As I said, permission group kind of determines what the person can see and do upon logging in. He is active at the agency and his login access is set to no. So maybe he tried to log in too many times and locked himself out. If I was the agency administrator, I would just come in here and simply click yes. Now Scott will have login access if I hit save. So that's a basic overview. It's very user-friendly, very interactive. I could also search here if I had a very large agency. And there's Scott's name. You see his login access is set to yes now. The next tab down under the agency name is configuration. I think of the configuration tab as customizing. So this is where the agency can come to add your logo. This will show up on the run form in the print report. I think it looks very professional. This is also where you can turn on auto narratives, auto numbering. You can add reports to your dashboard. So upon logging in, graphs and charts will be generated based on your data. You can look at some general settings, but for the most part, these are all default to how agencies like them. One thing that you do, or you're probably going to want to do, is come down to the repeat patients option. This defaults to no. I have turned it on already. So repeat patients, yes. What this does is it allows you to search a repeat patient. Any information you have on that patient will auto-populate, saving you time. So you can, pull up the patient's home address, maybe their past medical history, um, maybe their insurance information, birth date, age, weight, any previous data you've collected on them. The repeat patients, if it's set to yes, will allow you to search that. And you can change the parameter as well. Adding an agency logo is very simple. You would just come in here and browse and then upload your picture. And then you would hit save. If your agency uses auto narratives, you can come in here and edit or activate or inactivate them. There's 2 in here. You can edit what they say if you choose to do that. If you want to inactivate, you can simply highlight and click inactivate. Also under configuration, the last thing we'll look at will be this auto numbering. If your agency chooses to do auto numbering, it is very easy to turn on and off. You can have it auto generate the EMS incident number as well as the EMS response number simply by clicking on. You can change the date format of how you want it to show up or have no format. You can have it start at any number you want. You can add text if you wanted, and you can also choose when it will auto reset. If it is set by a date, you could have it do annually, depending on how far down you go. If you have the day, you can have it reset daily. And then all you would do is hit save if your agency chooses to do auto numbering. The next tab down is Elite Field Configuration. There's really only 2 things that you're going to be doing in here. The first is setting up your EKG auto import, if that is something your agency chooses to do. And the second is turning the repeat patients on in Elite Field. And I'll show you how to do both of those things. First, we'll come in here under EKG monitor import setup. And these will all default to yes. Your agency can come in here and edit these if you'd like. The vitals all have a default as well. You can change the parameters. But to set up that auto import, you're just going to come over to the cloud settings. And this is where, depending on your monitor, you can turn on yes or no. So I believe the life packs are Physio Control Cloud. You would just simply turn that to yes. If you're using Zoll, you could turn that on and type in the domain name and the data access key and your monitor password. And then this will create a sync between your monitor's Bluetooth and ImageTrend Elite. There's a really great webinar on this in the community tab. The Help in University, they have a webinar for setting up your EKG monitor. I strongly recommend watching that. Gonna hit save and back out here. The second thing is Elite Field General Settings. You just want to make sure that the repeat patient can be searched while offline. It defaults to online, but it is a good idea to set it available for offline as well, so you can find that information when you're in the field. Data exchange, this will show you an import and export history. Not sure how much you're going to be using this, but you could also import files or export, see the endpoints here. And finally, the migration wizard. It won't let me see this because it is a test agency, but the migration wizard is a tool created by ImageTrend Elite, and it will automatically pull over any active information you have in your site. So your list of users, that was migrated over using the migration wizard. But you can use the migration wizard to auto import all the information, such as your vehicles, your medical devices, your shifts, any type of resources that you already had saved in your old site. I recommend using the migration wizard. It'll save you time, and that way you don't have to manually go in and retype everything that you have stored in your previous site. After you finish the migration wizard, you can find most of that information under this resources tab. So we'll jump over here. When you click resources, you'll see the drop-down menu. You can see your favorite postal codes, facilities, medical devices, pay rates, shifts, signatures, vehicles and call signs, zones and districts. And we'll take a look at two of these, maybe a few of these, but the concept for all of these resources is the same. And I can show you how to add and inactivate as well. So we'll come to vehicles and call signs. You can see that there are 3 at this test agency. If I wanted to inactivate one for any reason, I would just highlight it and click inactivate. And you can see the status in the far right column change to inactive. If I wanted to edit, I could just click the ambulance, and maybe I wanted to put in that we bought it this year, and I could hit save. If I wanted to start from scratch, I could just click this new button, and we'll go test ambulance 2. Maybe it is, we'll say it's an ambulance. We bought it today. Oops. And hit save. Now back at our list, you'll see test ambulance 2. It's active. And you can also change the sorting order of which these show up. So all of these have a very similar style. The screen looks very similar, and it's the exact same process for adding or inactivating. But we'll take a look at a few more. Many agencies are using this favorite postal codes option. What this does is it saves you time, and it allows you to create a button for postal codes that you're frequently going to. This will save time because you're not going to have to type it in, search for the state, city, county. It'll just show up as a button. So we'll add one here. We'll do this. And you can see all of this information has auto-populated, and I would just hit save. And now this will show up in the run form as a button. I can also change the order in which these show up. So maybe I am mostly going to Traverse City, but sometimes I go to Castle Rock. So we'll do this and hit save. Perfect. Your signature paragraphs, this is where you're going to edit the signature paragraphs that show up. Unfortunately, this is not something that gets migrated over. So what agencies are doing is copying and pasting their previous signature paragraphs into ImageTrend Elite, and it is very simple to do. Just come up here to the New button. You can see it's requiring you to select a language and the person signing, type of person. You can choose the signature reason. So you see controlled substance waste, HIPAA, permission to treat, permission to transport, refusal, and then your signature paragraph would go here. And it's very simple to just open up your old site and copy and paste that information here, and then hit save. All of the information that you either manually type into the resources or migrate over into your resources will save you time in the run form. It is very user friendly and it will auto populate, so it's just a click of a button. Under the Tools tab, you'll see a few of these options. You won't be able to see some of the form managers as an agency level, but you do see the report writer. And this is where you can go if you wanted to generate some type of report. And any report that you save, you can see I've saved a few over here under my reports. These can be options to show up on your dashboard, which is very cool. But the report writer is very similar to the previous version 2 report writer. And that leaves us at the Incidents tab. This is going to be where you are doing most of your data collection and data editing. The other tabs are more of the administrative side of ImageTrend Elite Web, but the Incidents is going to be your run form and where you can view existing EMS. So under Incidents, you see the View Existing EMS option. I'm going to click this, and this will bring you to a list of your existing EMS incidents. You can kill the date filter, or you can filter for a specific date. You can see we have many, many, many practice runs in here. But you can see the status, the validity. This one's in progress. It doesn't have an incident number, who it was created by. We can zoom out a little bit here. If I wanted to send a message to Scott about this incident, I could just click message. If I wanted to print, I could do that as well. I could also add attachments or directly open it. And you can find your list of existing by going to Incidents and View Existing. If you are going to be completing a run form and you know you will have a complete and secure internet connection, which is not as common, but if that is your case, you can simply access the run form by this, Create New EMS. The default EMS form is the Colorado EPCR. Most agencies, though, are going to be using Elite Field, and this is very similar to FieldBridge. There is no internet connection. Even though it is browser-based, it is storing the information in a browser cache. And also, you can see this Field Incident Cloud. This is constantly backing up your work that you're doing while in Elite Field, and I'll show you just how great that works. So to get to the run form, you come to Incidents and Elite Field Login. It is going to ask you to log in again. You have the same username and password as you do in the web version. And yours will automatically log you into your agency's site. Let me just find test agency and hit continue. And this is going to sync all of the information I've just updated or migrated over. Any of the settings you have changed, that is what the sync is doing. So this is a good thing. It'll only take a minute or two. And it's recommended when you get in the morning, when you're logging into Field, just have it pulled up, let it sync, and that way you know your information is up to date. And we have entered Elite Field. You can tell because it says Elite Field down here. The inbox option again, settings, about, log out. You'll see your name here. This blue banner is telling you how many incidents you have stored in Elite Field. Right now we have 0. For the crew members, this will auto-populate from your list of users. The vehicles, let's see here. So you see the test ambulance 1 and 2. Perfect. And we'll do test shift. Perfect. So all of my crew and unit information is already put in here. And then if you are ready to start a new incident, you would simply click New Incident. And this will bring you to the run form. And the run form should not look too different compared to what you're used to seeing, but we can go through a few of these panels together. Along the top, you'll see the Save option. This is to save your work. You'll see the Post option. If I were to hit Post, this would get sent to the list of existing EMS runs. But since I'm in the middle of it, I am not going to post it. The Print PDF, this is where you go to print your run form. And if you have uploaded your agency or your agency logo, it will show up on the print report. If your agency uses CAD or EKG import, these are the buttons you would use to do so. So if I had Zoll Cloud set up, I would come in here. I'm going to get an error message because I am on my work laptop and I am not connected in any way to an EKG monitor. But you would just select the case that you're interested in, and that would auto-populate into your vitals. And then the close option. So any panel that is highlighted in red, as you know, is required. It's wanting more information. So this is where you would go to increase your validation score. We'll scroll down through the run form and you can see which fields are missing. So we'll do paramedic, not mass casualty, response info. If you had auto number turned on, these would already import. But I'm just going to type in test 1, 2, 3, and it was a 911 critical. So as you can see, my validation score, maybe they had abdominal pain, is jumping up every time I answer a question. Lights and sirens. So you can work your way down through here. You see the incident address, favorite postal code. These are the 2 favorite postal codes we had set up. So instead of having to go through and fill out this information, typing it in, you can simply just click a button and it will auto import. The times and mileage, you can see this little clock option to the right hand side. And what this is going to do is auto-populate the current time and date. If I were to say that this call was canceled, most of this stuff would disappear because it's not required. We arrived on the scene, we got to the patient. Let's say we left the scene, got to the hospital, we're back in service. And the run form is constantly thinking and changing depending on what information you're putting in. So for example, if I type in Jane Doe is a female, it's going to require me to answer if she may be pregnant. If I select male, it won't. If I put the primary impression as cardiac arrest, you're going to have to answer cardiac arrest questions. If I say that there is an injury or trauma, you're going to have to answer injury and trauma questions. So it's going to be constantly interactive based on the information you're typing in. Let's see the patient's date of birth, maybe March 17th, 1950. That will auto-calculate the age for you. Same for the weight. Let's say they're 150 pounds, 68 kilograms. If maybe the incident happened at the patient's home, you could do same as incident address. You can work your way through here. Along the right-hand side, you will see hotkeys. These are dynamic power tools, and they're designed to help you complete the run form faster. However, you can access the same information on both sides. But I'll show you the assessment power tool. So it asks you the crew member, the time and date, and then we'll start with all normals and work backwards. So maybe this person fell on their elbow. They fell on their right elbow. They have controlled bleeding. It's probably dislocated. It looks deformed. Pain, tenderness. I could even add details. So and hit OK. And then when I'm done with the assessment, I would just hit OK. And you can see that this shows up under the provider actions under assessment because we were in the assessment power tool. So it's up to you if you would prefer to walk through using the actual run form or the power tools. It's designed so that it's user-friendly, and it just depends on your preference. The validation, if I can't figure out what I'm missing, I can simply click this and it'll tell me what I'm missing. The number of patients at scene. If I hit this arrow, it'll bring me right to that question. Single patient. If I wanted to attach attachments or addendums, I could do that by clicking the menu option. I'm going to save my work and I'm going to close out of here. So this will bring you back into the home page of Elite Field. You can see our test incident 123 happened in Castle Rock, Colorado with a validation score of 94. You can change how it looks. It's just a preference. But if I was ready to send this to the web, I could continue working on it. This would just be able to be seen in the list of existing EMS runs. And all I'd have to do is hit post. But let's say by accident, I tried to hit post and I accidentally hit delete. This is where the field incident cloud comes in handy. So I'm going to log out of here and log back into the web version. And you can see this is the web version. It is orange. And this is the field version. It is blue. But they are very similar. Same username and password. So I accidentally deleted that run form after I'd spent hours of working on it. I can come down here under the incidents tab, the field incident cloud. This is constantly backing up your work that you're doing. So you're never going to lose your work that you were working on. Even if you meant to delete it, you could find a previous history of it in here. You see the incident and test or and response number was test 123, validity 94, I created it, today's date. If I wanted to send this to my list of existing EMS, I would just hit pull from cloud. And this is not a go-to, it's better just to post it. But if for some reason something bad happens, just know that you can always come into the field incident cloud and back up your work. So I'm going to hit the pull from cloud. And now this should show up under the existing EMS runs. And right here, it's at the top. My validation score was 94. It's in progress. I created it, test 123. If I was extremely satisfied with my work in this run form, I could always change the status of it by simply coming down here to the status bar. Maybe I'm finalized, in progress, not billable, ready for billing. Maybe this requires review. And you can tell it's saving. And this will tell whoever does review these that this incident is ready to be reviewed. I'm just going to close out of here. And now in this list of existing EMS, you'll see the status requires review. We'll come back home. And that is a basic overview of Elite Web and Elite Field. One thing I do want to share is this document, and I'll leave it on the screen for a few seconds or for a few minutes. You can see that Elite Web is on the left and it is orange. Elite Field is on the right and it is blue. Same username and password. I'm going to leave this on the screen for just a few minutes so you can copy down the web and the field URLs. It's very important that you have these. You can create shortcuts on your desktop. You can create shortcuts on your iPads. But the great thing about ImageTrend Elite is it doesn't require any software downloads. It's not going to require Microsoft Silverlight. You can access this anywhere that has a web browser. So you can even pull it up on your smartphone if you were interested in doing so. So I'll leave this on the screen for just a few minutes, and you can write down the URLs. Thank you for your time. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. I'm sure you will. Personally, the best way to learn the system was just to get in and interact with it. It's very user-friendly. At any time that I ran into a question personally, I found the answer in this community tab. Their webinars are really great for training your staff and also just answering any questions you may have.